Hi, everyone. How are you doing? It's Cami. So glad to see you. Hopefully, you'll gather here in a minute. I just wanted to come live right and just get started. And I'm really excited about today because we're talking about how to make client connections with social media. And this is the second part in a series, although you don't need to see the first part. I did put the link to the first part in the top. If you watch this and say, hey, I would like to go back and see the first part, I did that last week. But basically, we're going to go over a couple of things. I'm going to share my screen here. So let me do that real quick to kind of show you what we went over last week and then what we're going to go over this week. Okay, so this is the title of the series. And what we're going to do is go over this. Oh boy, it just like this. Skip all of that. You got all of the what it's going to be. There we go. We're going to go over these steps. So step 1, step 2, and step 3, we went over last week. Visibility content, like how important that is and how you can use that and how you should think about which visibility content you want to use. Then we talked about how to put together a quick win. Some people call it a lead magnet. Some people call it whatever you want to call it. I like to call it a free gift because I try to put a ton of value into anything that I give out for free. And that's just so people get an idea what it's like to work with you. They get an idea of what your thinking is like, that kind of thing. And then number 3, I talked about collecting leads and how important an email list is. And I gave some tool suggestions, and that was last week. So this week, we're going to go over the last 3 steps, which are coming up with this no-brainer offer. So once you have collected their leads, you have to sell them something. You probably already have something that you do sell, or that you service that you give or provide, or anything like that. So I would love to know who's here. Tell me who you are. Tell me a little bit about your business, who you serve. Hi, Russ. I see you're here. Tell me who you are and who you serve in the comments so that I can get an idea of who I'm talking to. Are you all coaches? Are you nonprofits? Who's listening in today? Just let me know. And I will kind of, make sure that I talk directly to your pain point and on this stuff. But in the end of the day, we have to have some offers to give to people. Then we have to solve their problem. So once we give them the offer, we have to solve their problem, and then then we can get the social proof, right? So once you've worked with people and you've done a great job for them, then they're going to come back to you and absolutely say amazing things about you. So I've been doing this for 20 years. If you don't know me, I think most of you who are here do, but if you're watching in replay and you don't know me, my name is Cami Hoyza, and I started my company, Zoetica Media, 20 years ago. Actually, it was called My PR Pro. That's how I started as a consultant, sitting in my apartment in San Antonio, Texas, with no clients, no knowledge of what I was doing, except for I did understand public relations because I'd been an employee for many years as the director of communications. And so I'd learned a lot about PR and how to do that. And so I thought I could take that and just translate it into a business, and it would be so cool. And the reason I'm doing this right now, this series, is because I know that a lot of people are going from being employees to being self-employed during this time. It's very well known that, there's some crazy statistics out there that show that more than half of people that are employed will be self-employed in the next, 5 or 10 years. And so it's crazy to me that many people would be self-employed. But since I've been kind of walking through this for a long time, I wanted to share like kind of how I've done it, what I've done. So I've come up with this 6-step process for you to also put it together. Now, you can use this process as well, by the way, whether you're an employee or whether you're self-employed. So you can, it really like is good for either way. It's how does a company get seen in the marketplace? So if you are a person who is promoting a company, whether you're an employee or you're an owner of a company in the marketplace, this is for you. This training is for you. It will help you. So again, go back and watch the visibility, quick win, and collecting leads part of this, because that's clearly important to get to this part where you offer them something. But once you get to this point, there's a lot of things that you can do to make it better. So I'm going to share with you what I call my value stack. So you probably have products and services already in your toolkit, right? So I'm going to say that's great. What I found for me too is that we tend to overwhelm our audiences or our, customers with too many choices. So what ends up happening is and this is a big problem for me. I really struggled with this for years, where I was like, well, I'm going to like create exactly what the customer needs. Like, they'll tell me what their problems are, and then I will put together a package for them. What ends up happening, and I've seen this over and over again, is you put together this package, and then they start to look at the package and say, well, I don't need that email, and I don't need this thing. Can you rearrange the pricing? Because if I take this out, or it just gets to the point where they're taking away all the things that you need to make them successful. And that's really the key, right? So you want to make your customers successful in what they do. So if you sell a widget or a product or whatever, it's like, if you sold a t-shirt and somebody said, hey, can I remove this sleeve on this side? And then maybe you give me like, a $1 discount. That's basically what it's like. So you want to think through entirely the success path for your customers, and then put together packages that will help them get there. Hourly rates and stuff like that are great for certain things, but the problem is if you're wanting to grow and scale your business, you're going to run out of time. There's just going to be a point where you're going to hit the wall on like how many hours you can put out there. Now, if you want to like just do that, if you're just like, a support person, you want to do it by hours, that's fine. That's fine. I just am talking right now to if you want to take this and scale it. So let me share my screen again and show you the value stack. So this is the value stack. I'm going to make this real big so you can see it. So the value stack is really about your offer. Okay. And when you bring your offer to a customer, these are kind of the pieces of that offer. Now, obviously what you offer is going to be different in every case, but these are the sort of ingredients of a great offer. I call them the value stack. And you'll hear other people talk about pieces of these everywhere. I've just pulled all these together, and I think of these in a concert. So first of all, you have to have a motivation. You have to know what is motivating your customer to care about your offer. It's, in the end of the day, not about your offer itself, or even the pieces of your offer, or what you're offering inside of your offer. All of that is great. And as business owners, we tend to focus on the features, the features of our offer. Well, we give you one email, 15 blog posts. I'm just talking about myself here. I'm just talking about my agency. We'll give you 5 social media posts per week. We'll give you 1 email newsletter, 2 emails. We're going to give you, and on it goes. So I'm just kind of throwing this out there. I don't want to bore you, but the point is that there's a lot of features, right? And then at the end of the day, what ends up happening is then you put people into this mode of like evaluation if you just have a list of features. So what you instead want to have is the impact of those features on your customers. So you can say, hey, we are going to put together a package that has been proven to build community around your brand. And it takes and you can have a list of your features, but the focus is on, hey, we're going to go from you being completely unseen in the marketplace to having to being kind of seen in the marketplace and known. And how we're going to do that is by this. And this is the package that we know works. And then it's just a package. You're not like this email, this thing, whatever. Definitely you want to list them, but not like listing them by price, each one, because they're going to just take pieces out. That's just how it's going to work. I've done this for a long time. I've tried it every single way. That's what's going to happen. So then the second thing is really about the transformation. And the transformation is how that is going to change the way that they feel, or, how they feel about what's going on. So if you can speak to what's in your customer's mind rather than what they're Googling for. So they may be Googling for, I need a social media marketing agency. I'm just putting myself out there in Katy, Texas. That's where I'm at. And they pull it up. That is a thing that they're thinking in their head. But the why are they coming to look for me or look for somebody like me? Why? In the end of the day, they're probably doing it because I'm overwhelmed. I can't keep up with all the social media stuff. I've tried. I'm like, how can I run my business and do this at the same time? And they're overwhelmed and they want to have that. So that may be one, overwhelm. So if I say, hey, let us take this off your plate. Let us be an extension of your staff so that you can do the things that really matter, and that we can be partners together so we can grow your business. Do you see how that's different than like, hey, we are this really great social media agency and we have all these cool clients, and then it's about us, right? So it's got to be about them and their transformation and what's inside their head. What are they struggling with? And you can get that in the first call, like especially for an agency. I know if you're selling something to the masses, it's a little different. You're gonna have to do some research and go out there and actually listen to people, talk to people, get on the phone or get on the phone on Zoom or whatever with several different people and just talk to them. Ask them, like, what is your biggest struggle with XYZ, whatever you help them with, right? And just listen to what they say and jot down exactly what their words are. I've definitely used exact wording of customers later in marketing and promotions. Not attributing, but I'm just saying definitely writing down their words because the words are going to hit with a lot of people. The other day I was talking about something I'm putting together right now, which is a mastermind for coaches and consultants that want to like get some of this stuff done in their business. And I was just talking to it with a group of peers. And this one woman was like, me, that's me, that's me. I was just talking about all the struggles of how we go out and we help other people do their visibility content, but then like we don't get it done ourselves. And I mean, she was just, yeah, she's like me. You want people to be saying that to you when you're talking to them, like, yeah, that's me. Like, that's me. I need that. Then the objections bridge. This is really important because you need to be able to overcome these objections preemptively. And so what changed everything for me in this particular bucket was thinking of objections as part of the pitch. So when you're, we all get ready for the objections. It's like the objections are coming. We know they're going to say they don't have enough money, they don't have enough time, they don't have, whatever they are. But what if you baked those in the beginning, like bake them in the front end of your promotion? So write down all your objections and say, are you feeling stressed out on time? Do you feel like you don't have enough money? And then you can talk about the investments that they need to make. And you can talk directly to those objections right in the marketing. It's really, really brilliant. Think about it because I think that's the deal. I mean, even as you're looking at this, you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, this is a lot of stuff, right? And it is. But in the end of the day, if you can master the value stack, everything else becomes easier. All of the sales, all of that other stuff becomes so much easier. You're not like putting out 10 proposals. Maybe you're only putting out 5 now because they hit better. They just hit better. So there it is. The risk reversal is that you want to eliminate the risk for your customer. And whether it's a money back guarantee or whether it's like an easy out in a contract, I have 30 days in our contract. At will, like you can get out anytime you want. I was just talking to a client about this the other day. They're like, so is this a year? How's this contract? And we were talking about moving forward for another year, which they're going to do. But we were talking about exactly this. And I said, yeah, that's why I like this contract. She goes, do we have to sign another one for a year? I said, no, I've written this contract so that it's rolling. So like, if you need to get out, you can get out. We have 30 days for us, 30 days for you. She was like, oh, and I could just visibly see her sigh and relief. So even the 30-day out clause is helpful in a contract like we have. For things like products and courses and online things, you can definitely do that. I've heard people even offer money back to people, like I'll pay you if I waste your time, which I think is, it just depends on who your client is and how comfortable you feel with that. But in the end of the day, if you're going to provide value, even if only 1 or 2 people take you up on that, it's worth it to soothe the fears of other people so you get more people to take action. So taking action, like if you can get 10 people to take action instead of 5 and say 10 of those take action, 2 of them want their money back, you're still ahead by 7. Does that make sense? Or so, no, that's terrible. I'm a terrible math person. Anyway, you're ahead by 8. So I'm just saying you can absolutely move forward with that. You will absolutely be able to do that. It will get you more people through the door, and that will help offset the cost of some of the people that might want their money back. Hopefully that's kind of rings a bell for you. Product delivery system. See, I'm not even good at math, and I know that. Product delivery system. So what is your proprietary way of delivering value? I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a second, but it's so important that you have a method. I still remember, this is like an interesting story, so I'm going to pull this up so I can talk directly to you. So this was really embarrassing in some ways for me. So I'm going to tell you an embarrassing story. So shh, don't tell anybody. So I was pretty well into my career. And I got a client that was another agency, and they provided services to their clients, and they wanted me to come help provide our services to their clients, which was great. It was very exciting. And this person asked me, what is your process? And I was thinking, process. Like, how do you serve your client? Like, what's your process? And I mean, I guess I had a process. I mean, I didn't have it written down like as such, but I'd sit down, I'd have a call with them, I'd write everything down. I did things, I had it in my head, but I didn't have it like on a piece of paper saying, here's our process. This is what you can sell to your client. Because she needed something from me to sell to her clients so that they would buy the service. And I was like, oh, this is great. Because I just used to say social media management. And it didn't exactly say what that was. And so whenever you started talking to me, I would say, oh, you need us to support you in content creation, but you're going to post yourself. I mean, we just have these whole bespoke conversations every time. And admittedly, we have very big clients. So that's kind of important. We will have that bespoke kind of thing happening, but having a system or a process in front of people is very, very important. And so I sat down with a bunch of sticky notes, and I wrote down every step. Like, what do I do when I start working with a client? And I wrote down every step of my process, one thing per sticky note, and spread them out all over the floor. And then I took them and started putting them in buckets. Like I said, oh, these all are part of strategy, and these are all part of connecting with your customer. And all of these are part of how to create the content that you need on social. And over here is all the measurement and that kind of thing. So I ended up in these 4 buckets, but there's many, many, many steps, but I put them all into the 4 buckets, and then I made them into a nice little system. But it takes that kind of thinking. So you just need to sit down as the expert that you are and think through every step that you take your clients through, and then think of what is the process that I have that I can put together, and then you can sell that as a process. Like, this is the process. So now I have the 4C formula, and I think I have this here in just a minute to show you, but that's the key, right? Is having something like that on hand. Cool. So that being said, the final thing is the pricing. And so when you are going to go out there, you want to create a price that motivates people and shows them value. So meaning, it has to be like a no-brainer kind of thing. So one of the things I've been doing a lot lately is adding in bonuses, even to contracts. So just little things, like I'll put it on their proposal. I'll say, here's what we'll do for you. And bonus, I'll add this little thing in. It just gets them over the hill faster. They're like, oh, wow, she gave us something for free, and that's really cool. And I usually add something in that is complimentary, that helps us do our job better, and do it well, and something that doesn't take tons and tons of time. So think about little bonuses that you can throw in. I lived in Louisiana for a small period of time in high school, and they call them lanyards. And lanyards is just a little something extra thrown in. And if you can just throw a little bit of extra something in to your contracts, that is absolutely going to make people really want to be, working with you, and excited to work with you, and happy, and wow, feeling like they're winning, right? So you want them to feel like they're the smartest person in the room. Like, wow, I got the best deal. Yeah. You think about how that makes you feel. Tell me, how does that make you feel when you get the best deal? Right. So anyway, awesome. So that being said, I am going to go to the next screen, which is really all about, I think that is, hold on, let me pull it there. Yes, all about the process. So I just explained this to you a little bit in the last one, but here's how I ended up on my process. So how would you do something similar? Think about yourself. So again, I have this clarity part, because strategy comes first for every single client for us. So you create a social media strategy that works. That's what I called it. So I call it the 4 C's. I found some alliteration here. So clarity, connect, create, and calibrate. And this is the order in which you can build your social media strategy in a way that it will absolutely work for you every time. And so this is something that I sell to my clients now as a process that we go through with them for every single engagement. And then we connect with your audience. We focus on who you help and solve their problems. Then we create that content that attracts your ideal client. And then we calibrate and measure your results and make adjustments and start again on creating that strategy, or, adjusting the strategy and moving around the circle. So you can see how this would become a lot easier to sell, right? Because it's not like, well, we do all these things. It's like, this is what we do. Tell me if that makes sense to you. If you're still here, if you're still with me, say, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. So let me know. Awesome. Let me keep going here. So the final step is really all around social proof. Once you have all of this done and you've delivered a great product, you've delivered a system, then you really need to be collecting social proof from your audience. Yes, and Elizabeth, great question. I'll tell you in a minute on the bonus things. So testimonials are like sort of the last step, right? You want to make sure that you have it's that social proof. You want the things that people said about you. So I do it a couple of different ways. For me, I often ask my clients, I just use this beginner way in some ways. I ask them to leave recommendations for me on LinkedIn, and I tell them exactly how to do it. I ask them to do it. And then I send them the link and I say, here's how you do it. This is exactly the path. And would you be willing to say how we work together? And usually I give them some kind of prompt, like, what was the favorite thing? What was the best part of working with us, or something like that? Because people are willing to give you recommendations, but they often don't know what to say or how to start. Even though they think you're great, they don't know how to start. So it's kind of like, I'm a singer. And sometimes, I was in the opera program in college, and sometimes people would come to you and say, sing something. And your brain just freezes. You're like, I don't know what to sing. I don't know. And so if you tell a singer to sing, it's always a little bit stressful. So it's the same thing when you're asking for recommendations. You need to give them a little prompt. So we also have done some other things like claim your business on Google My Business, Nextdoor, Yelp. You can ask people to leave messages there for you. It depends on your business and who you are. And then there's an advanced system where you can either set up a software. I use this one called Vidmonial. It's at Review SSS, bit.ly Review SSS. And I've asked people there to review us on our online courses and things. And it kind of works. But what I've really found works great, because most people are they going to go to a website and turn on a camera and start talking? Yes, some people will do that, but it's not everyone. So one thing that has worked really well for me is getting on like this, actually exactly what we're doing now here on StreamYard, and inviting somebody in with me, and then asking them a couple of questions about what it was like to work with us. So that's been a really good way for us to grab them too. So just videotaping them on Zoom would be great. So, just getting them on a Zoom call and asking them if it's okay if you record, and then making them the big screen, and then asking them a question. So that's worked really well too. And then just recording it. So if you're looking for video, then you can also take those and transcribe them into text. And then Elizabeth, you asked a couple of great questions. So I'm going to get to them here. The first one, since we're talking about this right now, is, do you repurpose the customer feedback on LinkedIn to other platforms? And the answer is yes, I do. So I have some of that on my website and things like that. Yes, I do. I definitely use that stuff everywhere, especially since they've done it. They did it for me, so they've agreed to it, So yeah, I do. So the other thing you asked me is what are some of the bonus things you offer? Yeah. So one of the bonus things I often offer is things like when we're putting together a strategy. So if I sell a social media strategy, this is an example, and I'm not going to be the one that's going to be doing their content, right? They're getting a strategy for me, and they're taking it to their people. And we put together their categories, their ideas, their thoughts. And then I tell them, I put together about, a month or two of done for you social media posts, for example. We'll throw that in and say, hey, we're just going to write for you, 15, 20 posts. Or sometimes I'll do 6 months of content ideas. That's even easier, because you can just ideate, a bunch of headlines, and that's been really helpful. And then we did that like within the content buckets. So you saw my buckets back there, which were all about, I can go backwards here so you can see them. But like, if I do this for my clients too, I give them these buckets. So we'll help them come up with these buckets of content ideas. And so for example, if I was doing it for myself, which I do, I'll say, okay, clarity. And then I will brainstorm like 15 ideas for clarity articles, and then content or clarity posts or whatever, and then content and 15 ideas for that, and create and 15 ideas for that, and calibrate and 15 ideas for that. And then you have like, 120 ideas without much trouble. So that's what we do. And that's for us, for me and my team, that would take us about an hour to do that kind of thing. So that is an easy thing for me to give for free, because it's just an hour of extra work. And we just do it sitting there, around a Zoom call, and we just brainstorm. So that's just one idea. So just something like that. So I've done a social media strategy, and they walk away also with some content to start with. So that's some ideas. Any other questions? What time is it? Oh my gosh, I ran through 30 minutes really quick. Does that make sense? So I'm going to go back here and give you guys the whole enchilada again, so that let's just get through the entire thing. And so here's the deal. You're going to create visibility content that is going to get you out in front of people. This is the marketing side. Again, if you came late, this was the first episode of this was last week, and the link to the first episode is in the description if you're on most platforms except for Twitter. If you're on Twitter, I can send it to you. Just DM me. But the visibility content is the first thing that you would do. Then you're going to do a quick win or taste, like some kind of lead magnet, something like that. By the way, the blank boxes below, like take a screenshot of this, put it on your computer, and write your own stuff in here. Like, what is going to be your visibility content? What is going to be your quick win? Then you're going to collect leads. You need some way to collect leads. I recommended ConvertKit as one option, because they give you up to 1,000 people on your list for free, and you can segment them. And I love ConvertKit for that reason. Then you want to offer them a no-brainer offer. I went through the value stack with you and showed you exactly what you need in order to make sure that they will accept your offer. It's really about the value stack, and it's super important. And then solve their problem, like love on them, make them happy, make them like think that they can't believe that they never met you before, because you've solved this problem for them. And then while they're happy and they're excited, capture that testimonial. If you hear them say something awesome, or if they tweet to you, capture it. Get them to go onto LinkedIn if they're a client. Definitely tell them exactly how to do it. Even a screen share of how to do it will help them, and it will make it happen faster. So that is all of the steps. Actually, on that last one, on the testimonial, really interestingly, Ron Friedman, who is an author, he just published a new book. And I'm trying to see if I can find the book. It's sitting here on my desk somewhere. But anyway, for anybody who pre-bought the book, he offers in fact, he's doing it this Friday. He was offering a free like webinar, whatever. And he just wanted a lot of people to buy his book on the same day, because that makes things happen for you as an author, because you can be a best-selling author and so on. And some of the cool things that he's done is he sent me he sent us all a executive summary of the book before it was published. So last week, like the book came out this Tuesday, then but last week he sent us this executive summary. It's like 16 pages, really easy read. I opened it, I read it. I was like, wow, there's a lot of cool stuff, and pulled some things out. And then he said, hey, could you please put a review for me on that book on Amazon, like by Tuesday, which was a couple days ago. And that's good for him, because it's on the day that it comes out, if it has a bunch of reviews, more people are probably going to be willing to buy it because they've seen a couple of reviews. And then he gave us a list of questions that we could ask. And I don't have those pulled up right now, which I did. I could do it quickly, but while I'm talking. But in the end of the day, he gave us prompts to leave a review. And he said, don't overthink it. We tend to not want to do this because we're afraid. We don't know what we're going to say. He just like nailed like that inner thought thing that you might have, like, oh, I'd love to leave a review, but like it's going to take too long. It's just going to be all of these things. And he said, pretty much the gist of it was, how does this help you? Did this change? Did anything in the book change something for you? Like, and what are you going to put into practice? I think those were the 3 prompts basically. And it was awesome because it gave me, I was like, oh, I could do that. And I just actually opened up the email and I typed my review right in the email that he sent me based on his prompts. And then I cut and pasted it and put it in Amazon. And that, my friends, is how you get a review. You lead people right to the edge, right? So yeah, that's how you do it. And so I, give kudos to Ron for all of that, because he did that, and I was like, wow, I took note of that. That was just an amazing thing he did. So anyway, that is it. I don't think, unless you guys have any other questions, that's good. And Russ, you have an awesome day too. Russ is he's awesome encourager, and coach. So awesome. And Elizabeth, thank you as well. Appreciate you guys participating. I appreciate that always. So thank you very much. And I will talk to you guys next Thursday. Be back here to talk about social media tips. Let me know if there's something that you would love for me to cover. Maybe we could talk about bonuses. That would be a good one, right, Elizabeth? I might just go into depth on how to add bonuses to your offers. So anyway, I will talk to you later, and have a great, great day. Bye.